22nd, 2007, 6:30 p.m. concerning the following petitions. The first one we have is a continuance, 21 Eugene Street, Albert Stamp, to construct a single-family home on an undersized lot with insufficient frontage and garage front yard setback. Are they here tonight? Yeah. Will you step up to the podium? Sign in, please, state your name and address, and tell us what you'd like to do.
Good evening, Chairman, Board. If you don't mind, could I distribute some packets on the markings that you requested?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'd like to thank you guys for offering this continuance to my petition. I hope that the board has had a chance to see the Mark property in person. I feel that this would ease some of the concerns from our last meeting. I've provided the board this evening with photos illustrating the markers and boundaries. You'll see that simply looking at the property without the markers, yes, it can be deceiving due to the existing driveway to the right, which is part of my land. With the markers in place, I feel this highlights the potential in this petition. And as I had previously noted, this property has been in my family for 60 years, and I'm just trying to see this through to the best of my ability. The footprint that I've requested for the dwelling is 24 feet wide by 36 feet deep. The previous approval awarded to my late great-aunt in September 11, 1990, was for 24 by 48 deep. With respects to current zoning laws, you know, I'm here to, because I believe in this petition is feasible. I'm here with an open mind, willing to work with the board to make this dream a possibility for my family. I'm not a savvy investor, and I'm not a builder. I'm just looking for a chance to build a house in a neighborhood that made me where I am today.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody here like to speak in favor for this petition? In favor? At 21 Eugene Street? In favor? Hearing none. Anybody who'd like to speak in opposition? In opposition? Yes, ma'am.
Cheryl Kelly. I live at 27 Eugene Street, and I'm just here to voice some concern that the land does not seem big enough for the house to be built. There is a lot of ledge, and I just have some concerns about maybe some structural damage to my own home or property with anything that may go on with this construction.
Okay, you live right to the left of this lot, if you're facing a lot from the street.
If you're facing the lot, I live to the left.
Okay, all right. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else like to speak in opposition? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Betty Levinson, and I live on the other side of that lot, and part of that driveway, although doesn't belong to us, is right up along the other side of our house. So I feel that it's a very small piece of property, and besides the aesthetic quality of it, of the trees that kind of add a lot of beauty to the neighborhood, I feel like I'm going to have a house right up on top of mine and kind of sitting right in my backyard. So that's my objection.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody here anybody else like to speak in opposition? In opposition? Hearing none. Okay, I was out there today, and I looked at the lot lines. I actually couldn't believe what they were, so I actually called the engineer and just to verify that today. One of the lot corners is actually right on the foundation of this individual's house that just spoke, and her house is the lot line, pretty much.
Correct. When they purchased the home, there was an encroachment, and in order for them to close on the property, it was probably about a year and a half ago, I actually severed off a piece of the land so that they could buy the house because the bank wasn't going to sign off on it. So, I was aware of that. There was an encroachment. I sold that piece with the understanding that for the remaining time, the driveway was free for them to use, as well as I would grant them an easement upon if I could build a house there.
Yeah, looking at the plot plan, the house you propose to build is going to be like 11 feet away from her house.
11 and a half feet, correct?
Yeah, 11.5 feet away from her house. And that, to me, that's just too close. I mean, it's just something I wanted to help you out, and that's why we had a good feel of what, when they did stake it out, they had a good feel of what's there. And I'm glad we did have that done because, to me, it's just a tough lot to put a house on that piece of property. And I think this, the first lady that came up, you probably were maybe 15 feet from her house. 11 feet from her home is just too close. I've never seen it done for all the years I've been on this board to begin with. Usually it's, you probably have maybe 10 to 15 feet on one side and on the one owner's property, and the other owner might have another 10 to 15 feet. So you're looking at a combination of 25 to 30 feet. But 11 feet, you're going to be on top of one another, and I wouldn't want to put the burden on the neighbors. And she's one of the individuals mentioned that it's a tough lot as far as ledge. It really is. It's a tough lot. I'm just throwing that out. I looked at it today. I did call the engineer to verify the lot lines. He said those were the lot lines, and just let the board members know that the house on the right, the foundation is the lot line. So, in other words, there's this house that they propose to build is going to be 11 and a half feet from that house. Let the board members have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's what I believed the last time when the petitioner came before this board, that my feeling is that you put a house smack in the middle of the two ladies' house. And the other neighbors down the street, when I first looked at it, and said, no, it shouldn't happen in this area. It can't happen. And that's my feeling the first time, that I was not going to approve this, and I'm not going to approve this tonight either. Because, again, same thing. My feeling is that this is not going to add to the look of the neighborhood as is. That's just my feeling.
Okay. Mr. Knox?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. I think the board is empathetic to the petitioner's personal situation and the fact that you have a history, 60 years in the neighborhood, and that you're trying to do something. But the irony to all of this is you went to the extent to do specifically what the board has requested you do, and all it does is to highlight our specific concerns, and the lot lines are much, much too close. The other concern I would have is the fact that because it is all ledge, one of the neighbors, the abutters, did bring up the point, what kind of structural damage can be done? I don't think anyone can safely say if you're doing any blasting or digging on ledge, how that's going to possibly affect her home. All that being said, I would not be in favor of this petition.
Corey?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. I'm also in agreement with my fellow board members. 2 weeks ago, I was very uncomfortable with it then, and I wanted to keep an open mind, do a site visit, and try and help the Stamp family out, if at all possible. But once the lot lines were confirmed on the property, I'm more uncomfortable than I was 2 weeks ago, unfortunately. And we cannot forget December 2004, the council changed all the zoning to prevent, houses like this going on such small lots, and we're expected to uphold those decisions. And unfortunately, I'd like to help out the Stamp family. They seem very nice, but I just don't see it happening on this lot. Thank you very much.
Okay. Again, like I spoke earlier, I just thought, to ruin a neighborhood, to put a house, and I know it's been your family for years, I actually do feel bad for you. We tried to continue it for 2 weeks, see if we can work something out. And when the lot lines were established, it gives us more reason to, that I would not be in favor for it. I think it would just ruin the neighborhood and ruin the quality of life for the neighbors. So I'm going to need a motion, please.
Make a motion to approve.
Second it?
Call the roll.
Mr. Kazanjian?
Denied.
Mr. Gearing?
Denied.
Mr. Noon?
Denied.
Ms. McMahon?
Denied.
Mr. Flynn?
Deny.
You've been denied with 5 votes. Thank you for coming. I want to thank the neighbors for coming out also. Thank you. Teresa Bolio, 99 Rosemont Street, repetitive petition to subdivide into 3 lots to construct two single-family homes in a flood-plain overlay district. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Flaherty. I'm a surveyor and a civil engineer. I'm on 48 Chelmsford Street, and I'm representing the family in matters of engineering on this project. And I'd like to set this up so you could see it perhaps on the easel.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, I just passed out some copies of what the lot looked like the last time you saw it. We had a proposal before you to subdivide the property into 3 lots and maintain the existing house on Rosemont Street. Rosemont is right between Alma and Lafayette off of Riverside, down behind the North Campus of Lowell. You probably recall the petition last year. And it was denied because of the odd lot configuration. The developer withdrew, but the family asked me to continue the project and see if we could salvage it. And I've changed the lot lines from the triangular configuration into something rectangular that fits the neighborhood. It's in character with the neighborhood. We went before Conservation in January, and they approved the changes to their part of the project. We had to move some underground tanks, and we got approval from them on January 3rd to an amended order of conditions. So our proposal now is to have 3 conforming lots, all of 7,000 square feet, and for you to reconsider your approval of this project.
Okay, I know there was some neighbors here that had some concerns. Can the neighbors see that plan that's on the easel? That. A little bit. Maybe we can turn it so the neighbors can see it. You can use that mic, that's right. See the microphone right there? No, there's old. Mr. Flaherty, do you have can you show him an old picture of the old, I have one here if you want to show the neighbors. Okay.
This is the old house right here. And we were going to put a house right here and one over here. Great, thank you. But you can see the old house is, of course, can't be moved. That's going to be in the same place. And the two houses that were approved by conservation haven't been moved. They're in the same spots. But now we have these rectangular lots that fit the neighborhood a lot better. Before we had that triangular configuration coming up behind here. I wasn't the engineer on that, so I can't take credit for it. But I don't know what the idea was. And in order to fit in these lot lines a little better, we're going to remove the porches that were in the back, so there won't be any side yard problems. So I think it fits in with the neighborhood a lot better. Everyone has a rectangular lot there.
Excuse me, they'll have to go through the board if he has any questions, yeah. Why don't you step up to the podium, state your name and address, and you can address your questions to the board, and we'll talk to Mr. Flaherty.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Paul Belay, 65 Elmer Street. I just want to know where the driveway accesses are going to be. Were they going to be on Elmer Street and on Lafayette Street?
Can you answer that question, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes, they are going to be, the original house is still going to have its access on Rosemont Street through the original driveway. And the new houses are going to be accessed, one on Alma Street, straight in, right about the middle of the lot. And the same thing on Lafayette, right about the middle of the lot.
Well, these plans are a lot better than the last plans, Mr. Chairman. I have no problems with this setup here, this diagram and these plants. They're aesthetically pleasing to the neighborhood.
Okay, great. I agree with you also. The last time this plan came into us, it was just, I don't know where they were coming from, but I couldn't see it working out for the neighborhood. One of the neighbors had a question earlier. These must be flow-through foundations, is that correct, being a floodplain?
Yeah, these are flow-through foundations. They're the same foundation that was approved by Conservation last
Okay.
year and then in January.
Right.
They flow through. They have a vent on the bottom of the garage. They have vents on all four walls in the house. They're self-opening vents. They're something new with the float on them. And there's no basement in the house. We've maintained the basement floor elevation is the same as the existing ground. So all the utilities will be on the upper floor, and the foundations will be at or above the floodplain elevation.
Okay, great. Mr. Flaherty, why don't you stay there? I'm going to ask see if we have any more people that want to speak in either favor or in opposition. You can answer the questions while you're up there. Is there anybody here who'd like to speak in favor for this petition? In favor? Yes, sir.
Stephen Ladder, 80 Alma Street. I just want to say that these plans are much better, and I am definitely in favor of this setup right here.
Okay, great, thank you. Anybody else like to speak in favor? Anybody like to speak in opposition? Opposition. Okay, hearing none, we'll open to the board. All right, let's see what the, Mr. Belanger?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, these plans have come miles from the last plans that were submitted a year and a half ago. The configuration conforms much to the neighborhood as it stands today, and I see the neighborhood's on board. I've communicated with them, and I'm for the petition, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Okay. Mr. Knox?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. The design is a significant improvement over the previous petition. It conforms with the neighborhood, and as is normally our principal concern, if the neighbors who are now present don't find a problem with the petition and feels as though it would be an asset to the neighborhood and not a detriment, then I agree with my colleague, and I would certainly then favor the petition.
Okay, Mr. Noon?
I do concur with my colleagues that originally we have concern with regard to the setup, the design of it, as well as the, the whether or not a conservation would be in favor of this. And now that they're in favor of the design, what should go in there, and the neighbor come, are those they somewhat not sure whether or not agree or support or against, but after seeing the plan, they're in favor of it, and I'm comfortable with that as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Flynn?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I agree with my fellow colleagues. I think the plans look very good, and I have no problem with this petition.
Okay, Mr. Belanger?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. One more question, if I may. Just wondering, out of curiosity, how many bedrooms per home, and do you have a design of what the homes are going to look like? That's all.
I'm not an architect, but there's sufficient room there for 3 bedrooms, possibly 4. I would say 3 bedroom for this size, plus a garage.
Just a question, if approved, do you have any idea when they would begin construction?
No, I haven't a clue with the economic market the way it is. I would think this summer would be when they'd like to do it. They'd like to move on it as soon as possible.
Okay.
Okay, and Donna, you all set? Well, like I spoke before, this is definitely a big improvement from the previous petition that came to us. Worked with Mr. Flaherty on this and told him what the board was looking for, and I think they did a great job. And they went back to conservation, got the approvals for conservation, so we need a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
Second it?
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Geary,
Approve.
Mr. Noon,
Approve.
Ms. McMahon,
Approve.
Mr. Flynn,
Approve.
Mr. Kazanjian,
Approved. Been approved with 5 votes. Mr. Flaherty, we need to sign some paperwork, and you're all set. I want to thank the neighbors for coming also.
Thank you very much, and the family thanks the board. Thank you very much.
Next we have is Michelle Jordan, 142 Myrtle Street, to construct an addition existing single-family with insufficient side and rear yard setbacks.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Brian Hoey, 61 Thornton Ave. I'm here to speak this evening on behalf of my sister-in-law, Michelle Jordan, 142 Myrtle Street. The petition before you this evening is for a 20 by 20 addition added to the back of the existing property at 142 Myrtle Street. The addition would contain a bedroom and bathroom with thinking of putting a 4-foot frost wall with a knee wall off of that, and then constructing the building. We thought of posting it, which isn't going to probably work as well. Also, probably wouldn't look as aesthetically pleasing as it could with the foundation. The foundation won't be out of the ground any more than not even a foot, possibly even with the ground. The purpose of the addition is to provide living space for a mother-in-law who's recently widowed and sold her home. Will not be an in-law apartment. It's being built directly off of the existing kitchen of the property, the existing property now, so she'll have use of that kitchen. So basically it's a bedroom and a bathroom on that first floor level, which will be easier for her to access. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody here like to speak in favor for this petition, in favor?
I do have a letter from a direct abutter.
Can you bring it up here, please?
Favor.
These people live right aside of the 142, is that correct?
On the left side.
Okay, all right. Yes. Is there anybody else like to speak in favor? In favor? Anybody in opposition? In opposition? Yes, sir.
Kevin McGonigal, 57 10th Street, the 10th Street Schoolhouse, directly in back of the petitioner. I'm not necessarily opposed to the petition. It's just, as it stands right now, it's very vague as far as what's going there. I'd feel much more comfortable if they were to just get some plans drawn up that showed elevations, material specifications, what was actually going to be there and what we'd be looking at. Their property is about a 4-foot retaining wall that's higher than my backyard, and then it's a walkout basement height. So I'm a little concerned as to what we'd be looking at there. And obviously I understand the reason why they're doing it and don't have a problem with that. But I'd certainly be much more comfortable if they would just have plans drawn up, specifications, so we know what we're looking at before I would voice my disapproval or approval of it. So that's what I would be asking for, I guess. And maybe you could continue it and they could have the plans done at that time or something on that idea.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hoy, do you have any plans, elevation plans? What type of addition you propose to put, Bill?
Sure.
No, not at this time, but would be willing to get those.
Okay, let's see if anybody else has any comments before we do anything. Is there anybody else here like to speak in opposition? In opposition? Okay, hearing none, let's open it to the board. See what the board members have to say. Mr. Geary?
It looks like even after, if I'm reading this plan correctly, Mr. Hoey, it looks like even after the furthest part out into the rear, there's still going to be 14 feet from the foundation. Am I reading that right? And I guess my question is to the abutter who just spoke. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. Could I ask you a question just quickly? Sure. How far away from that lot line that's shown here is your house, the rear of your house?
I don't know offhand. We've got an L-shaped building. It's the old 10th Street Schoolhouse. It's a good distance from it, but again, it's elevated. Right now, she's got a fence there that kind of gives privacy to both properties, but I'm a little concerned about a large foundation wall or anything on that idea, and basically what we'd be looking at there, so.
I was actually out there today, maybe I can answer the question. The addition is not directly behind this individual's home. His house is more, if you're facing the house, more to the right. Am I correct?
No, it's actually directly behind. My lot is a corner lot. It's about the condominium lot's about a 11,000 square foot lot.
The lot itself is, but the house itself is not actually right behind.
Somewhat.
Yeah, somewhat. It's
Yes.
off to the side.
Yep.
And I'm going to say from the lot line, your house might be sitting about 20, 25 feet away from the lot line.
Probably even more than that.
Okay, so probably maybe 35
Yep.
feet.
Yep.
So we're looking at a total of maybe 50 feet from this addition. Maybe that can answer your question.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like it's a large structure anyway. You're talking about 20 by 20.
Yep.
so a 400 square foot unit, and it looks like there's enough distance, at least to maintain the privacy that's there. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Hoey. Is there a current fence that he speaks about outlining the property right now?
Yeah, there's a chain link fence in part, but I may be willing to put a fence, put a hedge of arborvitaes, something like that along the back there also, you know, to block that lower part.
That's what I was going to suggest. If there's some sort of barrier,
There is a stockade fence now.
but if he's willing to do some sort of like scattered shrubs or something like that, so there really wouldn't be any kind of visual impediment to your property at all, I'd be willing to support this with a condition like that protects both the petitioner and the abutter who's speaking here tonight.
The other concern they did have was the foundation wall exposed from the ground, you know? So if we do a 4-foot frost wall, you're almost level with the ground, building a knee wall off of that, and then starting from there. So there won't be any concrete, maybe a foot exposed, and then from there, a knee wall that would be sided, you know, and it would be sided the same as the existing house now.
Yeah, when I was there today, we were discussing that, and they said it would probably come up maybe 18 inches at the most.
Right, exactly.
The rest would be wood, vinyl siding to match the rest of the house, a bow window in the back, they were explaining to me, and a window on the side for the other neighbors on each side, and that was about it.
Yeah, I guess my concern is just that it is in, you know, this on matter of record in some way that what they're proposing actually gets built, that's all.
Okay.
So that,
right.
you know, that's the case, because I know there's still a little bit up in the air whether there's going to be a deck or not a deck, and that's the thing. I just don't want to have this streamlined through and then something completely different put up there.
We can make some conditions that they build to what we were talking about, and then there's not going to be any other type of structure.
I think we can put a condition on that when Mr. Hoey has the plans done, he can bring it to the board, not necessarily at a meeting, but we can sign off on it, or somebody can? Is that?
That would be fine, then I can get you a copy also.
Yeah, I guess that's it. If I don't have any concerns when I see what's proposed there, I think that's my concern, that I don't lose my say now by not, when there's no plans and nothing in paper that anybody can see.
That's fine.
But,
That's good.
So
Okay.
that's it. I mean, that's my concern.
Okay, great. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Jack? Corey?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. I visited the site today as well this afternoon, and first I'll say it's a very well-maintained home. I credit the petitioner there. There seems to be a hardship involved. You're taking in an in-law or...
Correct, yeah, mother-in-law.
Okay. Okay, the only problem I had is, I mean, it's not visible. You won't be able to see it from being on Myrtle Street, which is good, but it's visible from the rear, which is 10th Street, like Mr. McGonigal, and so as long as those neighbors are appeased and informed, I won't have a problem with it. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Reza?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do like this project for a number of reasons. One is that it will not turn out to be an in-law apartment in the futures. B is that the petitioners trying to bring in an elder's parent to take care of them. That is a good thing and not happen this day as often. Yes, I do share the opposition, the gentleman in the back. But, you know, from the distance, as my colleague indicated, that it's far enough, as long as, you know, and the other things too is that the petitioner agreed to submit the plan, and hopefully that plan, of course, is going to have to meet with the request for this petition today. So with all that said, I am very much in favor of this project.
Thank you. Mr. Flynn?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I think it's very nice of what she's doing for you, and, you know, being in the back of the house where it is, I don't think it will be an obstruction at all, so I would be in favor of this petition. Thank you.
Thank you. Like Mr. Belanger said, I should say, it is a hardship. They're looking for extra space for their mother-in-law. As long as we can satisfy the neighbors, I think it's a good project, a good petition, and we'll make that condition that the plans will come in front of the board. The board will have to see it and approve it. And before we do approve it, Mr. McGonigal will have to give his okay. And I know, just talking to the neighbors, the petitioner, I think it's everybody's going to be on the same page. I don't think there's going to be a problem. But just to be on the safe side, we'll go that way. I'm getting a motion on this.
I make a motion to approve the petition with the condition that the petitioner submit the plan to the board for approval.
Second, please.
Second the motion.
Call the roll.
Approve with condition.
Approve with conditions.
Approve with conditions.
Approve with conditions.
Been approved with 5 votes. We need to sign some paperwork before you leave.
All right. Thank you very much.
I want to thank the neighbors, okay? Mr. McGonigal, can you come up here also and you can give Kim your phone number? When we get the plans, she can give you a call. This way he can review them. Next, we have Faux 88 Restaurant, 1270 Westford Street, to add new side panels and existing freestanding sign to allow off-street parking for newly expanded restaurant. Mr. Geary.
And Mr. Flood and Mr. Chairman, just because I may have a potential conflict of interest, I'm going to recuse myself from this hearing. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Flood.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, James Flood, 81 Bridge Street, Lowell, Mass., representing Hang Wen, who's of Lowell, Mass., who's the owner of the Faux 88 restaurant located at 1270 Westford Street. See you, bye, take care. Before you tonight, requesting 2 special permits, one for internally illuminated signs for the restaurant and one for off-street parking, if necessary. I think you're all familiar with the property. It's the strip mall located on the left just before the Chelmsford line. It's been there for many years. My client has operated a family Vietnamese restaurant at the location for the last 7 years. And he has an opportunity now to expand. Next to his present location, there was a bookstore which is now becoming vacant, and he has an opportunity to rent that space to expand his restaurant, and he would like to do that. I think you probably also know that that strip mall was the prior location of the New Paradise restaurant, which has recently closed down. So that has alleviated some of the parking problems at the site. He has redesigned his signs. I think you should have a copy in your application. On the freestanding sign, he would like to put an internally illuminated sign where the New Paradise sign used to be, and he would also like to put a new sign on the wall sign where he had his previous sign. Both of those would be internally illuminated, which requires the special permit. As to the parking, as you're aware, this is a strip mall that's been there for many years, and Section 6.13 of the zoning says that a use in existence prior to the effective date of the parking ordinance is not subject to the present parking requirements. As you know, it's been there for many years. There is no additional land on that site for additional parking, so there's nothing that we can add there. He has made arrangements with the gentleman across the street that owns the Exxon station to provide 10 spots if necessary. Now, when we take the additional space that he's taking, that would require 10 new parking spaces as opposed to what he has now. So that's why we came up with the figure across the street. But as a practical matter, with the New Paradise restaurant not being there, there really isn't a parking problem. So we're here to answer any questions. Like I said, he's been in business for 7 years. It's a good business. Everything I've heard is, well, he gets a lot of 4 stars. So we're here to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Is there anybody here like to speak in opposition? Anybody like to speak in favor? In favor. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Dominic Breen, and live in Chelmsford with my family, and we've been going over to Faux for about 7 years. And great restaurant, and wanted to come down and cheer for Bill and his expansion since we can't cheer for the Patriots anymore. So again, 7 years, been over Bill's home, wonderful family on Varnum Ave, and we've never had a problem with parking there. We usually pull right up in front. There's usually a space in front or in that lot, you know, just a few feet away, and you know, I just like to see him go forward. I think it'd be a win for everyone.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak in favor? Mr. Polton?
Sam Polton, also from that neighborhood in Chelmsford, 16 Berkeley Drive near Drum Hill, and also a property owner in Lowell, 61 Market Street. I'd like to speak in favor of this. This is not only a family restaurant, but a very conscientious owner. I frequent that mall. I agree with the previous speaker. There's never been any problem with parking. And I've seldom met anyone more anxious to do the right thing. And this is just the kind of business we need in Lowell. I think not only a great restaurant, but I would bet if the word went out that we needed friends to come and speak for this man, we'd fill the hall. So I hope that he can get both of these special permits, the sign so that people will know where he is, and whatever needs to be done so that there's no concern about parking cars. So I'm in favor of this.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else like to speak in favor? Yes, sir.
My name is Roland Van Loo. I live within a mile of the restaurant at 6 Hemlock Drive off of Route 4 in Chelmsford. I own a business that's less than a mile. We run classes, and the students have an hour for lunch. And I think the board is probably aware that compared to comparable demographic districts across the country, we have about half of the number of pubs and restaurants. And an increase in size would be beneficial, not only to me personally, but we can't right now offer this as an alternative for lunch for our students because we don't know that within the hour that they have that they can get in and out. With the expansion, we could. And again, have never had a problem with parking, although if I did, there is a lot of alternatives right nearby where we could walk to the restaurant from the parking alternative. So I don't personally feel there's a parking problem. I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else in favor? Yes, sir.
My name is Thong Pham Duy from 48 Gate Street. I'm very involved with the Vietnamese communities, particularly St. Patrick, and run a number of Vietnamese programs. Speaking about the Phở Tam Tam, he's the owner is very generous to the communities. He provides a lot of support for our children in the program, and always any kind of event in the community, we always see his faces in the Vietnamese communities. On top of that, the restaurant in Lowell, we need a bigger space, which is perfect. What his intention to increase the space so that any kind of group larger than what we normally can come there, we would not be able to. So now, hopefully, with his expansion, allow us to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak in favor? In favor? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Tony Mai. I live on 144 Wilder Street. I'm also the co-chairperson of the Vietnamese Business Network. I've been coming to this gentleman's restaurant for many, many years, and again, our community, our Vietnamese American community, does not have a large restaurant so can host our party, that kind of thing. So I'm really here to support him. Hopefully, you get favored. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak in favor? In favor? Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is John Ho. I live in Market Street. I've been going to the restaurant for quite a few years now. Lately, we do experience some waiting involved. So I'm very glad that he's expanding, so we don't have to do much longer wait. Although we don't find any parking issues so far. I fully support this project.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else that'd like to speak in favor? Yes, ma'am.
Hey, my name is Teresa Famdui. I'm very involved with the youth at St. Patrick's Church, and I'm also very involved with the Vietnamese community here at Lowell. I just wanted to point out that Pho 88 was voted the best Vietnamese restaurant here in Lowell, so I very much support his expansion and in this petition.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak in favor? Favor? Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yes, my name is Hong Pham. I own the garage in Lowell. I've been in and out from for Tam Tam for about 5-6 years, and I want to support him. So the reason is the only just a few parking like that, and you don't agree to him to continue to open more. So that's I think I support him more for his business, and he been come to my garage, fix a car. We're going to support him to eat out in his restaurant. So we've been back and forth, support each other. We are a Vietnamese community. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very good, thank you. Anybody else like to speak in favor? Hearing none.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, I forgot to give you, I have a letter for your files from the gentleman across the street as to the 10 parking spaces. And I also have a petition signed by numerous patrons of the restaurant that I'd like to submit for the record.
Okay. All set, Mr. Flood?
Yep.
Okay, before I open it to the board, I just want to make a comment. The owner of 488 did call our office, and Mr. Donald Lang. I met with them both at the site a couple of different times. And we came up with this solution for the parking. We feel they're going to have enough parking. And also met with the owner of the property where they have that, used to have that club that was down below, which is closed now.
Yes.
And I talked to the owner of the property, and I said if this does get approved, one of the conditions will be that he'll need parking across the street to open up that club that's down below.
Mhm.
He agreed to that, so that will be one of the conditions that we will put on it tonight.
On the...
If he opens that club
Downstairs.
downstairs,
Yes.
he'll have to seek other parking,
Yeah.
which he says is not a problem, and he agreed to that.
Okay.
So I just wanted the board members know that.
I think that's the largest space in there anyways, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, it was like 5,000 square feet
Yes.
down there. It was a big space.
Well, I
That
think it's 10,000 square feet.
is it 10,000?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
big, it's
but,
big space. So that would require most of the parking.
Right, and I felt, and also the owner felt, it wouldn't be a detriment to the parking situation here at all. We're just expanding this restaurant. So he agreed to that, and I think it's going to be a good thing for the neighborhood. I'll open up to the board. Mr. Noon?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I'd like to congratulate Onk for a successful business. And I heard a lot of the kind thing you've done to the community, the Vietnamese community. And you have the Vietnamese Business Association here to support you with Tony and Ron and so many other back there. Let me ask a few questions just to Attorney flood with regard to the hour of operations. How many days a week, and what's the opening of the business? What
7
hours?
days. 7 days a week, what is it, 11 to 10?
Okay. How many more tables are going to add on to now that we have expansion, how many more tables are going to be added on to the current?
Well, I can tell you it's probably tripling the number of seats to close to 200 seats.
All right.
There's booths, there's tables. I think you can see it on the plan that was submitted.
Yes, I saw that. All right. I do concur with the chairman. Even before, when we have that club down the basement, they do have leasing the parking across the street as well. People park there. Okay.
Before he opens that club up, he'll have to get that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes, I do concur with the chairman, and that this is a great project, and that certainly yes, there may be an issue of parking when the club come or the downstairs come about, but for the parking and for the request that this petitioner asking, surely it benefits to the city in terms of taxes, and this man not only taking but also giving back to the community, and as part of the community, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. Knox?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, that was one of the questions which my fellow colleague just asked, was the actual seating capacity, and you're saying it'll go from approximately 70 to about 200, is that correct?
Probably 50 to 200, probably, Jack.
150 to 200?
No, from 50 to 200.
50 to 200.
Yeah.
The other would be the signs that are illuminated internally. They're only open during hours of operation. The sign is only on and lit during hours of operation.
That sign, is it lit right now? The outside, is it open on?
No, when they close it, they turn it down.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Knox, I think the sign is there. All they're doing is they're replacing the inserts, so whatever's there now, it's just going to be the same.
It's just going to be the same? Okay.
Right, exactly.
All right.
Yep.
I think that I also agree with my fellow colleague that it's really refreshing to see, usually when we have this number of people speak, it's usually in opposition of the petitioner. And to have this many people come up and support is really refreshing and shows that obviously the work and contributions you've made to the city have been significant, and you should be commended.
Mr. Belanger?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. I'm in agreement with my fellow colleagues. I do frequent the restaurant quite often, and the food is outstanding. I mean, it's clean, service is outstanding, the food, and I congratulate you on to how you got to this point. Now, the point I'd like to make is that the tenants that are in the building, the other tenants that are in the building now, are insurance agencies and nail salons, and I think will primarily do their business during the day. So I think pretty much at night, you'll have most of this lot, which you'll probably do the bulk of the business at night. So that works out to your advantage. So, Mr. Chairman, with enough said, and I wholeheartedly support the expansion, and I wish you luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Flynn?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. The concern I have is the parking across the street. I would like to see a crosswalk maybe put in, or some kind of a signal, because I believe at night that would be kind of dangerous, crossing that street.
I don't even think we're going to have to use that, Mr. Flynn. I think when they want to open the club again, that might be something when there would be a crowd at night. But I think with what's there now, there's probably 100 spaces there now, and at night I don't think we'd be using it. So, I mean, I think what the chairman said, when they've agreed that when they come back they're going to get more parking across the street, I think that would be the proper time to probably do that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I think you have well over, was it 100, is it 110 spaces? Is that what you have now, Mr. Lang? 103?
A little over
Okay.
100, yes.
That area below probably held, what, 400 people? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's
at least that, right?
That's a big spot.
Right,
yes.
right. So I can't see this being a problem with that, especially with that other place being closed down below. I'm going to need a motion, but we need a motion when they approve it, if they do approve it, that the condition's going to be that If they open that downstairs function hall or a club, they have to seek parking across the street with some type of lease. Okay?
Yes, I do make a motion to approve with conditions that should the club downstairs be reopened, that the owner of the building and the club owner appear before this board for a special permit for parking.
Okay, great. I need a second, please. Call the roll.
Approve with conditions.
Approve with conditions.
Approve with conditions.
Approve with condition.
Approve with conditions.
You've been approved with 5 votes. We need to sign some paperwork,
Thank you very
please.
much.
Congratulations, Bill.
Motion to
I need,
adjourn.
we need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn. Mr. Chairman, we do have minutes to approve.
About to say you could be mayor. I'm sorry? Next time? Okay. Well, I've heard of your name. Yeah. Dominic Green, we live over on Mansfield Drive.
Oh, nice part of town.
Well, it's all a good time. I lived in Lowell for 20, 25 years.
I grew up in Lowell.
Did you? So, Bill, you're going to run for government? You're going to be the mayor or something? A very popular man. I'll see you.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you, Sam.
Nice meeting you.
Damon? Minutes? July 24th, September 11th for acceptance. Those will be accepted next meeting.
So, you want a motion?
Last meeting, you should have said July 24th.
Yep.
And September 11th.
I'm going to need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, sir.
Second motion.
Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes.